Hi, welcome to Yo Soy. Hi, welcome to Yo Soy Neighborhoods, Fresno. My name's Edna Collins. I'm your host today, and we have some interesting facts for you today. Mr. Haven and Officer Uribe, the PIO, which is Public Information Officer for Fresno PD, are here to give you some pointers on how to identify neighborhood criminal activity and how to secure your area. But I wanted to first start with a couple of interesting facts. Current violent crime annual per 100,000 residents. Nationwide, we have it at 282.7 for assault, and for Fresno, it's 346.4. And this is the number of incidents. Murders, it had here for Fresno 6, nationwide is 6.1. So we're not too far out of whack nationwide. Rapes, 32. Nationwide is 40.7. Robberies, 170.9. Nationwide, 135.5. Burglary, 554.5. Nationwide, 500. So theft, 2,345. Nationwide, 2,042.8. And motor vehicle thefts, 447.7. and nationwide 294. So Fresno falls in within the nationwide statistics in all those categories except for the motor vehicle. They're a little bit higher. The other thing I wanted to share with you is that we have the good side too. Fresno's rating as the best place to live is now at 136. And that's their number in line from 1 to 2,000 or plus towns to live in. And then for retirement area, it's rated at number 145. So we're getting better at our ratings. So we're doing great. We just got to keep the momentum going. There was also a poll done as a residents here. Some of the questions are this: safety or feeling safe. Safe, 51%, they feel safe. Somewhat safe, 30%, and very safe, 15%. So the other part of the poll was reliability of our Fresno PD. Reliable, 33%. Visibility, 30%. And are you able to see them around the neighborhood at 15%? But the upside is they're very quick to respond, and they come in numbers. So those are good things. And seeing all the neighborhood watch contacts for each of the districts, which would be Southwest, Christina Holmberg. Central District is Arlene Medina. Southeast District is Luis Garcia. And Northeast District is Ruben Barrios. And Northwest District is Marilee Rendon. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because in all of the information that you're going to hear, they're going to give you pointers on how to protect yourself and how to identify crime coming in to your neighborhood, and then how to secure your area. But also you need to do things for yourself. And one of the best remedies is to create your own neighborhood watch. So all of these contacts that I've just listed are the individuals you would contact who could help you start your own local neighborhood watch, okay? So let's introduce to you our security person with more than 40 years plus experience, Mr. Haven Young. I call him Mr. Haven. His name is Haven Young. And then, of course, the person that is out helping us daily with his, well, he doesn't want to ever pull his weapon, but he's out there talking to people, helping keep them in order. Officer Uribe, Felipe Uribe. Officer Uribe, let's start with you. I know everybody's on a short schedule and we've been here backed up for a little bit. So one of the things I wanted to ask from the PD was that how did you pivot during with the ongoing COVID? What did you have to do, or how's that working out for everybody?
Yeah, well, and I thank you first and foremost for having us here. I appreciate it for the invitation, and I think this is a great opportunity to sit around and have a conversation about many topics in our society right now. The COVID-19 pandemic was a big one that's still present. And it was a tough time, and it continues to be a tough time for everyone. You know, sometimes we think that for the government body in charge of city or county or state, it's easy to address these things. It's not. It's just as hard as it is in our homes. So for our chief of police, for the Fresno Police Department, it has been a tough time, because we never want to jeopardize the safety of our officers, the safety of the public, or take away from the service that every citizen deserves. So it has, you know, with the COVID-19 hitting our department, just like it has hit anybody else, human beings, officers are getting sick or being quarantined as a precautionary measure. And it has taken bodies away from our patrol units and our special units to an already existing low number of staff that we had. So it's been tough. It's been tough, and we say it from the inner body of the police department. We are trying to keep it and make the best with what we have, so that the citizenship of Fresno does not have to suffer the consequences of.
So what can we do as citizens help you? I mean, going through this process, I know right at the beginning, none of us took it really that seriously. We thought it was just going to blow over like any other flu, which it hasn't, and it still is working its way through again. So what can we do?
Well, we ask that, and we encourage everyone to follow mandates. Local and state mandates. Not all of us are maybe oppose or support the mandates or agree with them, but the truth of the matter is we have to do something as a society, as a community, as a government body. And so we ask the public to be patient with us, follow mandates of if it's a quarantines, if it's mask mandates, if it's whatever's coming from your local leadership and government. All those measures help us minimize the exposure to our officers and better serve you in the long run. So hopefully in the next few months we can get past this and we can look back and think about everything we've learned from it. So.
Oh, there's always learning. It never stops.
Absolutely.
I don't care how old or young, we're always learning.
Yes.
Well, let's get to the subject today. And one of the things, and the reason I asked you both here, is because I noticed because of that higher crime rate they're having to deal with and the lower numbers of officers, and now that we know that there are 1 million people in our county, which is a mighty big number, I thought it'd be best to bring information to the citizens, to our audience, on how to identify criminal activity creeping into your neighborhood. So can you give us kind of a few pointers on moms and dads and people that homeowners could be looking for, that, you know, they didn't have crime before, but now they might be getting some crime, or to avoid it in some way, or at least push back on it?
Yeah, if you allow me. I think we all have to know our neighborhoods, know where we live, right? Different demographics, parts of the city and the county have to deal with different environmental issues and social issues. So know who lives in your neighborhood, what comes through your neighborhood, what kind of businesses are there, what kind of businesses are going to attract a certain clientele. And I think if you understand where you live, you will understand who belongs there and who doesn't. Bottom line, it's hard to say who's a criminal, right? Who does not belong in that neighborhood. So only you know. If you feel or you believe that someone in your area, around your house, around your vehicle is up to no good, call the police, right? A suspicious person in your neighborhood.
Well, okay, so being vigilant is what I'm hearing, but also wouldn't it be wise for some of the people, if they see someone different, to, you know, kind of like, if they've been hanging out on a corner for a little bit, come up to them and just say, "Hi, how are you? You know, my name's da 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 da. I live in the neighborhood. What house do you live at?" Or something like. Be approachable, in other words, to kind of let them know that you are aware that they are there. Is that okay? I mean, I would do that. I'm just that kind of person.
Yes, and you know, you mentioned different. That could be very subjective, right? Where we cannot say or encourage people that if you see somebody different in your neighborhood to approach them and ask them what they're doing there, because now we live with all kinds of different people in our neighborhoods. But you made a good point, right? Can we walk up to somebody in a very courteous and respectful manner, have a conversation with them? Absolutely. I think it just depends how we do it. You know, we saw it a lot during the last few months where someone approaches somebody holding a cell phone up, recording them as they're trying to have a respectful conversation, right? From the beginning, from the get-go, that is not a respectful conversation. That can be looked at as you know, why are you recording me, or why are you approaching me? Is it because of my religion, my color, my sex, whatever it may be? So can you walk up to somebody, have a conversation? Yes, but it's just, we have to remember to treat everyone as a human being with respect. And
Just being neighborly.
Being neighborly, being approachable, being human all over again. So yeah, absolutely.
Right, right. A cup of water. I mean, I usually have extra bottles of water in the car, and I'll just, somebody looks like they need some water, I give them a bottle of water. I mean,
Yes.
it's hot out here.
Yes.
So something like that, something simple.
Absolutely.
Being aware, I know that Neighborhood Watch comes up over and over again. I did a segment on that, and it's very important to bring that back. I mean, these are old. Neighborhood Watch came about in the 70s, I think, or something like that. Mr. Haven, you've been in this business for quite a while, so your what do you think to kind of marry up with what the Officer Uribe is saying?
Basically, we deal with the physical security and not with the people and the interactions that you would have with somebody like you were talking about. So I'm not versed in, you know, in that kind of thing. But, you know, any common sense, like when you walk up, "Hey, are you lost? Can I help you?" You know, something approachable, I think is very doable. You know, like you said, with a cell phone, that's aggressive.
Can be seen, yeah.
Yeah, that's seen as aggressive. So I would do that. But you know, so most of mine is just how to protect your house, what kind of security products that you should use, and where you deem is applicable for you. Because I remember in the beginning, back in the 70s, if I just put a deadbolt in somebody's house, they'd go next door and break in because they only had a doorknob. So it's all about, in physical security, it's how much you spend on the security. With security, you're buying time. With an alarm, you're buying time. So it's what you put into security is what gives you the difference and the differentiation between you and someone else. They'll go to the easier subject if you have good locks on there, you've done your due diligence of taking care of your property and make it, you know, not bushes to hide behind and stuff like that, and you take care of that, they're going to go somewhere else. You got a sign out there that has an alarm on it. They're going to go somewhere else. You put a sign up that even if you have one of those Ring cameras and you say Ring camera, they know when they walk up, they're going to be captured. And then that's the best he can get, is having a photo of somebody coming up for the PD to see what's going on. So anybody adding cameras to their houses in today's society, back in the 70s, we didn't have cameras. You know, so even in my business, we had a camera out by the bus stop, and we've had them, you know, have altercations out there, and they'd come and get the video, and you know, it makes all the difference in the world, because they can't be there instantly. They can only handle so many calls at a time, but they can always come back, and they've got the evidence of porch pirates or whatever it might be, altercations.
What about lighting?
Well, lighting goes right along with it. At nighttime, you need lighting. Nothing better than, you know, the lights that light themselves up and just let them know that there's somebody there. They'll move on, because badness cannot hide in the light. You know, it wants the dark. You know, it doesn't want to be seen. So
those
yes,
motion censored type lights.
motion sensing cameras, yeah, I mean, or lights. are always good.
And what else do you think? I mean, I've seen people have automatic sprinklers, all kinds of crazy things. So I don't know if there's, I mean, if you're having a real problem, if you can do little.
That depends on your property. If you have a property that's set back way far away, they have sensors that you can put in the driveway if somebody drives in to try to take advantage of something. There's different stuff out there, different things that you can use, and it depends on your level of what you're looking for and what makes you feel secure. But you definitely, and today you definitely need to ramp it up because it's a new age.
Yeah.
It's just a new age. It takes more to scare people or push them away to somewhere else.
You know, just to kind of add to that is, you know, criminals don't like to work hard. They don't like hard work, right? They like a quick buck, a quick way to turn around and make some money or gain something doing the least amount of work as possible. So you made a good point. The stronger, more secure your home and your property is, the less likely somebody's gonna, or more than likely people are gonna pass that and go to the next house. So if you're the brightest, cleanest, most secure house in the neighborhood, then that means that they're probably going to go somewhere else. So, and that's nothing against your neighbor, but I think everyone should be focused on securing their home so that it can turn into a safe neighborhood. And these people that are up to no good can continue moving on to the next neighborhood. And if everybody catches on and everybody secures their own home, then as a whole, as a city, as a society, those numbers will improve, right?
Oh, yeah.
But we have to it has to start in our home, and it's through crime prevention, through environmental design, which is what he spoke of, right?
Sometimes they'll go down and they'll check doors. They'll rattle doors to see where they can just open up and go in and take advantage of something. You got to have the door locks. Got to remember to use the locks, first of all. That's the most important part. You got the camera on there. You got a sign that says you're on camera or whatever at the same time. They're not going to approach that porch because they know, and that you're actually going to help the neighborhood, because then if you've approached that house and you go to another house and it's in the same timeline, they now have a possible suspect.
Well, that's true, yeah, because they have them on camera.
So even though your neighbor doesn't have that camera, you can be helping your neighbor by just putting in a little bit of camera, and because of just that, if they were going around rattling and just trying to see where they can get in, then even if they're just walking down the sidewalk, if you've got one good enough to capture a clean video, they'll say, what timeline was it? And do you have any film or video recording in the cloud? Now it's not film, it's at 11, it's in the cloud.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that. Now, what would you recommend, I mean, for someone that has, for people that are not have a lot of money to spend on some of this, what would be the easiest, most effective item they could get to on their laundry list? I mean, would it be lights? Would it be locks? What?
You know, it's an amalgamation of everything that makes the best. You can start off with the littlest, and the cheapest is probably just one of those video doorbells.
Okay.
Just so you've got a camera, somebody coming up, doesn't protect the backside of your house, it doesn't do anything else. I mean, it's a way to start, but you know, you need to have an alarm that goes off that lets you know. You need locks that are, because now that, you know, they can bump locks open, they can, there's just so many different ways to get into a lock. If they don't fortify it right with the jam, they can be kicked in. You know, it's adding levels of security, and you do have to be conscious of what you can afford to pay, but start with something, somewhere. Don't just say, well, later on, but start with something.
Okay, so one of those small cameras. And
yes.
How about the windows? Those secure, those
windows are the same thing.
Windows,
you know, I
better?
mean, the nice thing about windows and home alarms is you can put them so you got teenagers that like to sneak out. You can put on the windows, so even though you vent it, you can have a second magnet if they bugged my kids. I did that to them so they couldn't get out. I had some boys, and I don't want they always want to get out and go have some fun. So I ruined it for them because they knew they couldn't slide the window just a little bit more and go out and have fun. But and that keeps them corralled. There's a lot of little things that you can do, but
That's one of them.
You know, if I may add,
sure.
one thing that we see and sometimes that goes a long way is, and you don't have to be a house owner, you can be a tenant, right? But it's taking pride where you live, taking pride, keeping it clean, keeping it neat, keeping it organized. If side gates open, front screen doors open, ajar. You mentioned cars everywhere, places where I can hide at night, sneak into your house, overgrown bushes. I walk through the night and there's not a single light on because I'm trying to save some money, right? So we turn off all the lights outside. But what that's telling me is you're neglecting your property. You're putting your guard down. And so I'm going to take advantage of it. If you don't have to live in the rich or better off parts of Fresno or any city to take care of your property, to take pride in ownership, to let them know outside, this is my castle and you're not coming in here, right? So, and that doesn't take a lot of money. It just, you got to change the human behavior.
it's like my business is on Blackstone and Belmont. And I kept my yard with basically nothing in it. I didn't want an attractive nuisance for them to jump over the fence. I didn't have barbed wire, you know, around the fence or anything else. I just kept it clean. I parked my trucks inside so they couldn't be vandalized at night in the middle of the night. Kept everything in the back clean. There wasn't something laying around that they could...
A ladder, right?
A ladder, a hose. I mean, you leave a hose out sometimes, they would be over the fence to steal a hose. So if you keep the attractive nuisances out, that's, again, it makes your property look better. You feel better about the way things look, and it doesn't give them a reason to come get bottles and cans and stuff like that to take off for even just a chump change. They'll jump the fence to make chump change.
Oh boy. Could we take 1 second? Could you give a debrief in Spanish on some of those pointers? Spanish on some of those pointers?
Claro que sí. Estamos hablando sobre maneras de proteger nuestras propiedades y nuestros hogares. Y del punto del Departamento de Policía, algo que vemos diariamente o muy a menudo es personas que no se toman el tiempo para proteger sus hogares. Y una simple manera de las que se pueden hacer estas cosas es limpiar alrededor de sus casas, de las ventanas, recortar árboles o matas que estén muy grandes que tapen la luz en la noche. También estacionando vehículos en el pasto, en las yardas de enfrente, no prendiendo luces en la noche. Es mal porque invita a la oscuridad, invita todo aquel elemento criminal. Así que tenemos que tomar un momento para tomar un honor de propietarios o de inquilinos donde vivimos y limpiar nuestras áreas para que no invite ese elemento criminal. Poner cámaras es otra manera, no dejar escaleras o otros obstáculos que puedan ayudar a gente a brincarse un cerco. Pero hay muchas maneras que podemos evitar gente que se meta a nuestras casas, conocer a sus vecinos y que los vecinos los conozcan a ustedes, para que si usted no se encuentra en casa y algo sucede, le puedan llamar.
And the children be aware.
Yes.
You let them know that, or reminded them that the children, if they feel like there's somebody there that's odd, that doesn't belong, to just approach them in a neighborly fashion.
También estamos platicando sobre cómo enseñarle a nuestros familiares o hijos de identificar una persona sospechosa si se encuentra en nuestra vecindad o fuera de nuestra casa. Si alguien cree que alguien está en su calle, en su vecindad, que no pertenece ahí, primeramente llamar al departamento de policía local para que vengan a revisar a la persona. Si se puede tener una conversación con la persona y preguntarle quién es o si necesita ayuda, si anda perdido y es salvo para el residente hacer eso, se puede. Pero si son niños es mejor no comprometerse a ese tipo de contactos, dejarles saber a un adulto que hay alguien sospechoso afuera para que ese adulto llame a la policía.
Yeah, there should be adults around at all times. I mean, I realize in this society we have moms and dads both working, so it's difficult to have an adult always there, vigilant over your children. But you have neighbors, you have extended family. We do have, back in the day, we didn't have a lot of babysitting places. Now we have actual places that you can send your child to from school directly to a safe place where they can be housed during the time that you're not able to care for them. And that's really a good thing. Even, I believe here in Fresno, they have community centers where the children, after they get off of school, they can go to the community center or the Boys and Girls Club where they can have activities. Those are really good resources for you to go to investigate about and sign them up. A lot of those programs, even if you don't have money, they do give grants for the children to be there. So there are safe places, and really this also cuts down on this human trafficking issue that we're having. We'll talk about that later. I have my own input on that, but that also helps to reduce. So if you're at work from 5 o'clock in the morning, there should be someone from 5 o'clock to, I think school starts at 8 typically, to make sure that they're getting to school, drive them to school, get on the bus, walk them to the bus. So that way there are no distractions along the way if there are some people there that could possibly come in contact with your child and try to sell them drugs or steal them away, or, you know, create a diversion where they get some other ideas in their head. You know, children are innocent. They don't know all of these things. It's up to us as adults to be sure that they're guarded unfortunately, every single second of their life. Yeah. Okay, and that includes in your home too, because I notice now that I'm getting to know my extended family, I've been gone for 35 years plus, that you're bringing in people that are having housemates, let's put it that way, that are into drugs and alcohol a lot, and then they're bringing their buddies over. Right there, that's not a good situation if you have a young girl, okay? Let me tell you, it's not good. They need to take their drinking and smoking activities out of the house, not in the home where the children are, not where the little babies are. That's not good for their lungs, not good for their eyes. And it's not good for the information that they're hearing. Believe me, children learn without even you saying a word. They watch every second that you're around. So if you're bringing in bad behaviors in the home through those extended friendships, tell them to go to the park, go somewhere else, go rent a guy's garage to go hang out. They have the right to do that too and have a little fun, but do it out of the home. So that's from my own personal experience, seeing what goes on. But believe me, these gentlemen here, they have the experience. Could you give them a little background on you've been in policing how long now?
I've been a police officer for 12 years.
12 years?
Yes.
Okay. What got you into this?
You know, right, so I was raised here in Fresno, and immediately after high school, I joined the Armed Forces. I'm a Marine.
Oh, thank you.
So I did my 4 years active duty in the Marine Corps, and when I got out, there wasn't much on my resume that I could do out here in the civilian world, and kind of trickled into law enforcement. My neighbor at the time growing up was a deputy for the county, and just talking to him, looking up to him, it was a way of me to be able to provide something for myself and for my parents who were elderly.
So he influenced you. See, your neighbors are important.
Yes, very important.
Yeah.
And he kept me on track because he was much older than me, and so whenever he saw me at school doing something that I wasn't supposed to, he reminded me that he knew where I lived, and that there was no getting away. So, yeah, there's kind of going along with the comments you made about the influence that we have on children, right? Kids learn. You don't have to talk to them just by what they see. So, being a good role model, surrounding your kids and your family with good, positive people, goes a long way. It's a lifetime of an investment.
Yes, I mean, it's not only your lifetime, but their lifetime, and then their children's lifetime as well. So
Yes.
it continues. I mean, I see that. We're socialized by our parents, and their parents socialize them. So some of those old Mexican habits, you see it in me. All the time. So, and Mr. Haven, can you share with the folks how many years you have in security and how you got into this business?
43 years. So I started out as a salesman to the trade and saw what the trade was doing and figured I could do it and run a business. And I started out from a 10 by 10 key booth at Chestnut and Kings Canyon in front of the old Kmart.
Okay.
Built it up to where I had 5 people working out of a 10 by 10 key booth, and then bought a locksmith out on Blackstone and Bullard and moved there, and I had 2 locations. And then at one time I had a vocational school and I taught locksmithing because I had no employee pool to pull from.
Right.
So I had to create locksmiths and
Like a locksmith academy, if you will, right?
yeah.
There you go.
So I've done every aspect of locksmithing from training to, starting out just by myself, and really did it on my own. So, that's the wonderful thing about America. You can start out from nothing and build something and
Creative
enjoy it.
thinking, that's what that is right there. Putting it to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, resolving your own employment problem, the whole 9 yards.
Born and raised here in Fresno, went to Fresno schools, spent a couple of years away, but, basically home.
This is home. And he brought this wonderful booklet, which I'll have on my website, the information, how to get a hold of this booklet. It talks about how to improve your home security. And Mr. Haven was the wonderful person that put this together. So you can look on my website and check in on how to get this information for you to use. So I hope this segment has been helpful to all of the citizens here. Our purpose is to bring this information to the home. And I know CMAC TV, AT&T, and Comcast, or Xfinity as they call themselves now, I guess, you can get a hold of this information all day long, and we have Yo Soy Media Inc. YouTube as well. So I really appreciate both of you taking time out of your day
You're welcome.
to come over here, and I know you're a very expensive interview. But we appreciate your service, and thank you for making a choice to be a police officer. And we have many more things to talk about. And Mr. Haven, thank you for your service, and you're just a good example of old-fashioned, ingenuity. You take a situation and just plow through it and find a resolve. So that's what we're asking you to do at your home. You can help bring those crime activity numbers down by employing a lot of these ideas that these fellows have shared today with you. So please take time and get a hold of this book, and I'll post the Neighborhood Watch contacts for you to get a hold of them, and they do speak several different languages, right? English, Spanish, Hmong
Yes.
are the primary languages, I think. And then you also, on your videos, you can hit that little button that says translation. That works too. So thank you for watching. Appreciate your time. This is Yo Soy Neighborhoods Fresno. Watch for the next segment. Edna Collins. Bye-bye.